All right, hello. This is Honey Pot Performance and our featured friends, our new project for 2020 called If Then. This is the first of several virtual performances we're gonna share with you online as part of this project. We're gonna start with introductions. I am Maida McNeil, artistic director of Honey Pot, and artist, educator, researcher. Yeah, I'll start there. Popcorn it, whoever wants to go.
All right. I am Jody Presser. I am the music curator, DJ, and co-writer for Honey Pot Performance. Next person.
Hi, I'm Aisha Jean-Baptiste. I'm a founding member of Honey Pot Performance and currently living in Baltimore as a licensed clinical social worker.
I'm Jennifer Lee Gaia, current member of Honey Pot Performance, artist in movement and sound from Chicago.
I'm Norman Long. I am a guest for this particular performance. I am an artist who works in sound, and my practice involves walking, listening, improvising, performing, and recording to create environments and situations in which we are engaged in dialogues about memory, space, value, silence, and the invisible.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So we're psyched to have you here, Norman. And this actually is the This is our third engagement with you in this space. So kind of a testing and playing and experimenting. Cool. So this week we are recording a performance for you all that is built off of this kind of creative divining system we've been making. So if then, and I'm gonna ask you all to just jump in on this explanation of the project. If I go too esoteric, for sure. But if then is really, we wanted to continue looking at questions of like spirituality and how we found kind of spirit, intuition, connection with kind of ancestors and energies as part of like the guiding forces of how we make work and how we make choices, creative choices in the work. And so we wanted to kind of play with that and more explicitly go after like, how do we make a creative system that allows us to make some choices within parameters. So that's really what If Then is. This is the first phase of what we hope will be 3. First phase is to connect with 3 different other artists who are aligned with Honey Pot's mission and the way we make work. So that's Norman Long, who's with us here today. That's Allegra Dolores, which is Kamika Roberson and her sister HD, who were our first month's guests. And then that will be Sojourner Zenobia coming up in May, working with us. And then we will close this first phase with us all doing a performance together at the end of May. Then we hope to fund each of these artists to make some new work based off of their inspiration from these experiments. And then the final piece will be a New Works Festival in the late fall, which, maybe we'll be live, but maybe we'll be virtual, who knows, whenever we can come back outside and play. So anything else folks want to add about If Then or any of this before we get into it?
I think you did a good job.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Sweet. Sweet. Okay, so we're about to, go ahead, Jen.
No, I was just gonna say, I love Joe's background, and that was a lot of the discussion when we were building both the systems, binariness and two objects kind of interacting, and the duality of yes or no, or even the binary systems of that computer world that we're dealing with now, the ones and the zeros, and just relating to the work of Belkis in some of the concepts that we're integrated in this process that we developed.
Yeah, I totally forgot to mention Belkis Ayani. Do one of you, I want to kind of give a little summary? I mean, like, I think it speaks to like us working out of this idea of like divine chance, that this opportunity came up when we decided to do this project. And then just kind of, it made a lot of sense. But does anybody want to kind of give a little summary of Belkis and her work? So I'm not the only one talking.
Well, in a lot of her work uses a lot of this process of, it's a printmaking process. So a lot of the printmaking is layers, and her work was very much rooted in Abakua and the mysteries behind it. So she kind of used the language as the inspiration for a lot of the representations that she chose. And just a lot of the concepts that were brought up, especially posthumously for her, were with regard to just her focus on different concepts such as the eyes and fish, and the ways in which there are different languages that aren't necessarily with words.
And I didn't get a chance to, I didn't get the pleasure of seeing the exhibit in person, but when I did some research, also a lot of birthing, motherhood, creation in her images as well, and womanhood and the power in that. And that from what I was reading, that speaks to also her legacy and her work as this research on this woman who has dared to enter these spaces that have been dominated historically by men, these powerful spiritual spaces and positions of authority. And so that really spoke to me, and also the really mystical, haunting eyes in the imagery. So.
All right, well, so we're gonna pause for just a second to get set up with our kind of divining system, and then we're gonna take folks through that process that we go through to set a score before we play it. So if you will just hold for a second, we will get ready, and then we will come back and divine a score.